Welcome back to the second half of In the Studio, powered by 100tb.com, part 2, episode 14. Boys, we're back, and this section might be a little bit quicker, where we've got just a couple of news pieces to hit. First one that's up, the conclusion to the whole Fnatic debacle. They'll be attending TI4 with Era in tow. Steve is still going as a coach/analyst, and apparently they have been practicing with Era. Fnatic posted another blog update, and they're feeling positive-ish, at least. They've been practicing, and I guess Era is feeling rather well, so fingers crossed at this point. Seems the drama's over. Woohoo!
I don't know what the... Actually, I want to check what the odds are like for Fnatic.
For now, at least.
I want to say they're a good YOLO bet at this point.
They might be.
Honestly, to me, if Era does bring his A-game, I think Fnatic is a very legitimate threat to finish top 8.
If he got well.
If he's having problems, that's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
I think it's a similar case to last year, where last year a lot of people didn't expect them to go top 8, but they had a great tournament. They finished tied 7th, and sure, they want everyone wants to do better than tied 7th, but I think for a team like Fnatic, that's still a really strong result.
They are
the competition
21.27 odds for first.
Wow.
Compare that to the next closest is
the
Vici
higher, the
Gaming
better?
at 24.4.
So they're paying 22. That's
So
pretty,
Dota 2 Lounge has Alliance, EG, Newbie, Navi, EU, DK, IG,
You want to pull this
all
up, Roland,
ahead of Fnatic. Okay.
we need the full screen. Let's talk Dota 2 Lounge bets.
Yeah, that was
Get
our
into
next
what really
topic.
matters
anyways.
here.
Yeah, let's talk rares. So, these are the Dota 2 Lounge
Wildcard
odds, and I
winner.
guess for those of y'all that don't bet often, or you look at this and go, what are all these numbers? They break it down for you, but it's a little confusing for you veteran bettors, because this is not normally how the betting system works. Basically, they have set odds, and you pick your team, and then you get that payout.
Oh, it's not fixed odds.
Well, it's they
The
give
payouts
you
change.
the payouts.
That's like their rares betting, where whatever it ends on before the tournament. So unlike
I
actual
see.
bookmaking sites, when you bet, you get
It locks in your odds.
It locks in your odds. So if I bet right now on Alliance to get first place, I would be getting 3.86 return,
but
regardless of anything.
But if a bunch of people bet on Alliance between now and whenever the bets
It'll go
close,
from like 3.86
and the
down
odds
to
drop,
like 3.
you get the reduced amount, which is not how normal bookmaking sites.
Oh, okay.
basically
That's
Dota 2
interesting.
Lounge is a scam.
So
No.
you don't
Just
get to
kidding.
lock in. So there's no value in betting until the very last second, basically, because you
Sort of.
don't really
Yeah.
know. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, maybe
You wanna know
maybe
what your odds
Fnatic
are
is a
gonna be.
value bet right now, but what's the point of doing it if
I don't even
in 2
think
weeks
that,
it could
it's
change?
not really even that value. Like 21. Like
Well, I'm just saying,
It
like,
looked like better value at first glance. The more I look at it, it's
No,
not
the
actually.
I'm
thing
just saying,
is-
even if you thought it was good value now, by the time
Like
they
a
actually
team like
play
Vici
in the
Gaming is
tournament,
definitely better value to me than
Wait,
the
Fnatic.
value could
when do the bets
totally
close?
change, right?
Yeah.
When do the bets close?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because if it goes on like an ongoing
actually-
thing throughout the tournament, the things might change. So
No, once the tournament starts, it has to close.
Look at Empire. Empire's at 14.8.
That could be.
That's
That could be
that's got to be the
value.
Russian influence, because Dota 2
Yeah.
Lounge started off as a predominantly Russian community.
And that's basically saying they have a better than a 1 in 16 chance of winning.
Hmm.
Which
I don't know about Empire
Yeah.
winning though. It's not like one of those teams you envision winning. It's always the
Yeah.
famous ones. Have
So-
Empire actually won first place or
DK is
anything?
a terrible value bet. How can they?
1.23.
How can you give odds?
Okay, so 0.82
are-
per
like-
second means that you have an 82% of getting anything. I
Yeah.
believe if this is like their normal item bets.
Right. So
You're not even guaranteed a reward.
So if you
Well,
bet,
but now
you
it's
bet
value-based.
Titan, you get 41 rares. Is that how it works?
Well, no, because it's value based now. So you put up your rares, and if they're like the next level Immortals, you get a number value. Okay, this is worth $40. So then whatever that value is, you multiply by this number.
Oh,
so
right,
if
right,
you
right.
put
They
up
changed the whole
$40 worth of rares on DK and they place third, you get 41% of that initial bet back. But conversely, like if you bet on Titan and they get third, then you get 13.69 times your $40, and that's
Damn.
your payout.
That Cloud9
Okay, so
value.
I was completely wrong. Ignore everything I just said.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well,
so
the
that's what I
last
mean.
thing I
It's a
just
little
said
bit
it.
different from how D2L normally does their betting.
If
the
you're
betting stuff.
interested in betting, do your research. You might find some
Whatever
incredibly,
Merlini
incredibly
recommended.
better odds than this. Is all I'm.
What did
gonna say.
Merlini-
Whatever Merlini recommended, definitely don't listen to
Yeah.
anything Ben said. He has no idea what he's talking about. Do the opposite. You will perform better with your bet.
What did he bet on anyway? What did he say?
I don't even know. But just go look up Ben's bets, do the opposite, and you're in good hands.
Alright, so bet
sure.
Cloud9.
Mad Rares lost with Merlini.
You can trust me, guys.
Yeah.
I've won a lot of rares by betting against Ben.
There's a reason his
Wait,
show stopped. The
That's
Mad
why
Rares
he
and
stopped
Merlini.
Mad Rares with Merlini.
The number of rares lost from that show.
Yeah. Fired.
Poor Ben. Yeah, that is a rough concept for a show because so many things can happen. Even if your predictions are like, let's say you're like 60%, you're still positive. There's still a lot of the time where people just lose.
He did not say that the rares are going to you.
Yeah, still, it's
The
just
rares are going away from you. Mad rares away.
That's true. One of the other news pieces we need to hit here, Starladder. They have claimed their territory. They have announced Starladder Season 10 and 11. The LAN finals for Season 10 are going to be October 23rd through 26th, and Season 11 will be in January 15th through the 18th. Rather exciting. I think we'll be doing a little bit of casting there.
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
Just a smidgen.
It's going to be the same format as the last season with, what's the breakdown? It's 4 EU teams, 2 Chinese teams, 1 team from SEA, and 1 team from NA.
Cool.
So it'll be the same kind of global format, and then coming to the hub. Well, I guess it's
And
not
the
a hub,
big
the LAN
change is
finals.
SEA is now Korea plus SEA. So last season they didn't have SEA, they had just South Korea.
Such a huge step. They're the
Mhm.
first major organizer to outside of China to fully include Southeast Asian teams.
Mhm. You want to
And
scroll down
Starladder
a little more?
ESL gave teams a chance to qualify, but ultimately they let the Chinese teams run through that qualifier as well, and nobody actually made it to the event. But we're guaranteed to have a Southeast Asian representative, and not just like a Korean-only qualifier, which, I mean, end of the day, I think is
It may not be a
huge.
Southeast Asia representative.
You wanna
Yeah,
scroll
that's true.
down?
It might
yeah,
not
it's
be.
the Zephyr Dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But
would be
we're a lot more likely now than when it was Korea
Yeah, yeah.
only.
Yeah.
And it's considering Starladder is like the biggest league out there for pro teams as far as we're at Season 10, Season 11. It's international. It's a global league. I mean, there's other big leagues like Dream League and stuff, but that's Western teams only. So from that point of view, including SEA teams is a natural step and is huge for the SEA scene as a whole because to get that opportunity to actually play in an event like Starladder.
And Starladder is a big deal, not only because they've been going for so long, but that's part of their branding. I mean, they have the highest. I think they have the highest ratio of ticket sales to relative to their base prize pool.
By
if that
far,
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so,
the Navi home ground.
yeah,
so
they don't
you get a lot of
necessarily always
fans.
have the highest ticket sales or the highest prize pool, but given how much they put up, their sales were just off the chart. So.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a lot of money on the line, and I don't think they announced the prize pools yet. These are very preliminary, just general dates and formats, but I'll be curious to see what their base prize pools are coming up for these seasons.
I mean, it's awesome to see them just announcing it like right away. To me, that's just I feel like a lot of times it's like you don't really know what's going on after TI, but now you know there's going to be 2 star ladders. You'll have tons of content to watch. Obviously, there were going to be these tournaments anyway, but I just like the fact that like it's like okay, there's something after TI. You know, Dota's not going to die, guys. Tier 4 isn't the end.
Not
although it
dead
might feel
game.
that way. But at the same time, the only thing is they're actually starting pretty late. From last we spoke to them, it was going to be like later in August, which is pretty long break. Normally, Starladder gets going like only 2-3 weeks.
Maybe
after
there'll
the
be
event.
a
This is more like
burnout
4 to
after
5, I
TI4
think.
though.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's maybe something they just want to be on the safe side with. I know some organizers are trying to start like early August, and it's like, well, could work. It could completely not work at all.
If teams don't want to play, teams don't want to play. If
I
Well,
think
or
a
their
month-
teams might not be out
Yeah,
there. They might not exist.
a month
They might
was
be
what
rebanding
Alliance
or
took, right?
retiring.
After TI3, they took a month off or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
So-
it's 2 things. It's the vacation time, but also the TI shuffle.
Hey,
It
the
happens
winners
every
will want to
year.
go celebrate
And
with
it
that
takes
$1
some time
million
for those
each, man.
teams to form. That doesn't happen overnight.
They would.
so.
They would
That's
want to go
true.
celebrate.
Although
so.
Starladder has it a little bit easier because their group stage is so big, like in the EU section, that they have these teams that are the
Not going to
lower tier
TI.
teams that won't be at TI or they'll be fresh, and they're just eager to play. So they could actually maybe start a little earlier, even if your Navis, your Alliances, your EGs are still on holiday. Just food for thought, but we'll see. So that's actually just about it for our news. I think it's time to move into a Q&A. Was there any other pressing news that happened? Everyone's focused on TI, man. We couldn't even get a guest this week. Everyone is just like, no, I'm traveling. No, I'm packing. No, I'm in Seattle training. Sorry. We're booting Navi.
No, I'm
NA,
going to
or,
the San Diego fucking zoo.
yeah, or you can be
Cape
Brian. I'm
Cod
going to the
case.
zoo today. You can be Ben. I'm going to the beach today. To be fair, they have ladies that they have to make sure they're okay with them being AFK from real life for 3 weeks. So I sort of get it. Kind of. It's
Oh.
like 3 weeks in a row Ben's
Yeah,
dodged the show.
Fair enough.
Even K-pop dodged the show.
Damn.
Dodgers, dude.
All of those in the house with significant
Aren't you
others
guys glad I'm
touching
here?
the show.
There
Aren't you
actually
guys glad
was
I'm
one other
here?
point. This is actually maybe before we get into Q&A, just an interesting talking point. So OnGamers had another little debacle. They little. So
They got slashed.
If you guys haven't been, they did get slashed. If you haven't been following what happened, what was it like a month ago, 2 months ago? How long
Yeah.
was it when they were initially banned
2 to
from
3,
Reddit? Yeah, it was a while ago, and they were domain
Boosting,
banned,
right?
and then all of
Boosting?
their coordinators, associates like Cyborg Matt, all their upper level people were banned basically from Reddit. And they got it reversed, and they had a lot of talks back and forth. And then the OnGamers domain was you could submit stuff to Reddit again. And you know, the big thing was they were posting the same content across a lot of different subreddits, which is a big no-no. And they were like having people upvote and all this stuff. So Slasher took it upon himself to go through and say, well, I can't submit my own content anymore, but what I can do is PM people on Reddit with very explicit directions, very specific titles on how to make these threads explode. And he did that, of course, on the Reddit system. So there was a very easy paper trail of, yeah, you sent these PMs, smart move. So once again, OnGamers domain is banned from Reddit, and Slasher is permanently banned for a year or 2 years or something.
Why is he doing it through Reddit? He's trying to abuse Reddit
through Reddit,
leaving a
They
paper
will
trail
never
on
know.
Reddit.
That's the worst
To me,
part.
that was the most facepalm moment of the whole thing. It's like,
They will
okay,
never
it's
know.
bad enough you're trying to cheat the system again after you already got in trouble for this, but you're using that website to go about your cheating of the system. Come on, man.
All they have to do is check your PMs on the site, dude. It's not like any admin can do it. I don't know.
That being said, this whole thing reeks to me of him being the fall guy. Like, I'm not convinced Slasher just completely went off on his own and did it.
I think it's possible.
The way it reads to me is very well could be OnGamers basically said, you know, our articles aren't doing well enough, and you know, under pressure you got to find.
I imagine he was under pressure to get more views, and
they may not have
them
outright
side
said
traffic,
it, but they may have put him in a position where he felt like he had no
Yeah,
difference.
I imagine he took it
Illuminati.
upon himself to do what he did at the same time.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
I know Reddit is a big source of traffic for OnGamers. I don't know exactly how much. I guess that's the
For
private
Dota, it's a lot.
statistic, especially for Dota. Yeah. It's a significant portion of their traffic, which I get, but it just seems like the whole risk-reward scenario. After it's like you try it once, they catch you, you do your thing, and you talk it out, and you go, okay, we're not gonna do that anymore. You're on your second chance. That's like. That's the time when you're on thin ice and you know it, and you play by the rules. You just say, okay, I got to find some more creative way to. It's just crazy.
I
Well,
just feel bad for like.
It's just the nature of their business model
Yeah.
to me. Like,
It's
you look at
kind of
the most
weird.
successful sites, like Team Liquid, Join Dota, OnGamers to a lesser extent, although they've been struggling a bit lately, I think. But they've built their own communities. Their website is not. Traffic isn't driven by Reddit. Or Liquid Dota now, which I'm still salty that they did that, but that's a discussion for another day. Because I just, you know, I enjoy the Team Liquid community as a whole. You know, I joined Dota not so much, but there are, for me personally, I find their forums a step down in that respect. But, you know, some people do. They've at least made an effort to build a community. OnGamers is just, they're just posting articles, so they're entirely relying on Reddit.
Yeah, I don't know, but Slasher has been let go from OnGamers, so he won't be a senior staff member on that website animore, and he personally is banned from Reddit for at least a year, if not 2 years.
He's
or
probably
something like
life
that.
banned.
Yeah, he's
already.
perma-banned.
Oh, he's
OnGamers is
perma-banned?
banned for a year.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right. So sad times for Slasher. What's he gonna do now?
Well, read his note if you want. I read it, so.
I read it.
A little sad.
I was a little sad. I don't know him. but
Sad
still,
boy.
He's just.
I mean, the guy wants to. He's the right guy.
well, he's an OG. He's been around for a while. You know, he's
Exactly.
been an esports guy.
When the thing happened, like, you got a lot of support and a lot of people, like, I mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of esports people are like, man, like, good luck with whatever you do. Like they kind of felt bad because I think people realized that he was under a lot of pressure to deliver and to make OnGamers successful. And it was like LD said, the model is like a model that's hard to make successful. So
Yeah.
It's just a very risky business model.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Dota Buff when they released the Dota Buff ratings. Like, their entire model was just built on the mercy of Valve, and they had never cleared it with Valve first, or at least that's what it seemed like. Is you know, that's ancient history for a lot of the viewers out there. But
I honestly don't have a big problem
very precarious.
with content creators submitting their own stuff to Reddit, though. I don't quite understand why that is such a black and white no. Just you created this, you do not get to submit it. And what is the rule? It's like 1 in 10. Like,
No, but
the bigger issue is
what
the
ab-
vote cheating, though.
The vote cheating is a big deal.
No, you are allowed to submit your own content, but there are some rules.
you can't exclusively do it. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
I think they say is for every one thing that you submit that's yours, you should comment at
10
least on
others?
10
Yeah,
other
if
things or
if
something
you're
like
active,
that.
if you're an active
Or-
Reddit user, like you comment other stuff, you're like posting your own content's basically fine under the
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's-
I see a lot of art content that like
Yeah.
Fosh, is that how you pronounce
Yeah.
her name? Yeah, she uploads stuff all the time. So
Yeah, but
it's her own thing as
it's
well.
like
So.
what I don't know. It's one of those things where you're sort of rolling the dice, where you're just
Oh, yeah.
you're just gauging that much. Okay, have I submitted too much? And to
I
me, it's
think-
one of those things. If people like your content, they upvote it, and that's part of the value of
Yeah.
Reddit. If you submit it and people don't like it, they just downvote it. And
If they
That's-
realize all you're spamming your own links here, it shouldn't be Reddit needs to ban you. It should just be people start downvoting because
Yeah.
that's all you do.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we don't like you because you don't take part in Reddit. You just post your links. We're gonna downvote you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just don't like shadow banning. I think it's really stupid and ineffective, and that's how Reddit handles that kind of stuff. For OnGamers, it's a high publicity thing, 'cause it's a big website. But if you're just an individual, let's say you start a blog and you post all of your articles, they'll just shadow ban you, and you don't know. You don't
You just
realize it, and you
disappear.
just slowly start to realize, hey, nobody's replying to my comments, and then you go, oh, that's because nobody can see them because I got shadow banned.
Twitch did that for a while. When you got banned from Twitch channels, you'd still show your message.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And especially did active chat.
Oh,
You wouldn't
hate
realize
that.
that you were banned.
yeah, I hate that. It's just silly.
When they changed it, we got flooded by messages like, "Oh, unban me, please!" Like I
will
just
not
got banned.
kappa
And
anymore.
the truth was, they had been banned for ages,
I like
and
the
they
old
only
system.
just found out.
The people not knowing that.
Yes, because then they stopped messaging us.
Yeah, I mean,
That was where
that
it's like,
is
okay,
one
we
positive.
cannot read through 1,300 Twitch PMs.
Yeah.
Like this is
Yeah,
impossible.
I've started ignoring my Twitch PMs. So.
Oh, getting to be a bit of a diva, are we?
Whoa.
No, but it's
Whoa.
always about unbanning, so I just
You
ignore
love
it.
Twitch. How can you ignore your PMs? Twitch is your lifeblood.
I'll try sometimes.
I skim mine, but it is usually the
It's
bulk of it is
unban,
just unban me,
please.
please. Or,
Yeah, unban
I don't know
me.
what I did wrong. I'm like, well, I don't know either. That's the other thing. It's just like they just assume, like, well, we have
There was
no
this
way.
one guy,
I can't
I
look
only
at your chat
spam
history.
people. Can you please unban me?
Or my favorite other thing, I only said one racial slur. I don't think I should be permabanned. I'm like, that's one too many, dude. Like, what do
don't
you
know.
mean? Only one? That's not an argument.
That's where like if you'd approached this differently, I would have unbanned you.
Yeah, it's. I think I've unbanned a total of like 3 people since like started, where their appeal was just nice enough, or they said
Yeah.
please, right thing at the right time. But it's a very sketchy.
Send a nice tweet to someone, and chances are you may get unbanned.
Yeah, you just gotta be nice.
If we're in a
guys.
good mood.
Yeah, get it.
Try to find out we're in a good mood.
Right questions at the right time. So, all right, let's do a little Q&A, then we'll wrap up this last episode before TI. These are subscriber questions, guys. We're going to be doing some stuff to get subscribers to BTS more involved, especially post-TI once we're back in the swing of things in the studio. And this is just the beginning of it. So we did send out an email and got a few sub-questions. This one's from Jacob. Do you think the prize distribution is fair or improved from last year? We talked about this a little bit earlier, but do you really think first place should get $5 million? It takes a massive amount of effort for teams to even become good enough to play in the international, and I was curious if you guys thought the 6th through 14th places were generous enough. We talked about this a little bit, but
I think
in
they're
context of that specific problem.
if anything, like overly generous for 3rd through 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but first place is
I think first
justified,
place is
think.
great. I think if
It makes
even-
headlines.
I feel like first place could even be like it's not even 50% of the total
Yeah,
prize pool.
46.
Like you look at most tournaments, and first place is look at Chinese tournaments. First place is like 70% of the prize pool.
Mhm.
I think if you look at like ESL One and other big LAN events, it's around 50%
Mm-hmm.
normally. So I think TEI actually went like a little under what first place normally is as far as percentage.
Because of the community.
Like
so-
Lysander said, it makes instant headlines. These players become millionaires overnight
Yeah.
before taxes.
well,
of
it's not
course.
at to 5 million yet.
But
for first place.
headlines usually don't
It
care about
probably
taxes.
will.
They will just say, "Oh, millionaires."
Val probably is hoping for that. That's why I also thought it was weird.
I'm
'cause
surprised they didn't do it just a little bit more to guarantee that
Yeah.
headline. That's
each
Yeah.
player getting $1 million. I mean,
that gets
in
mainstream
theory,
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So
The
Yeah.
the prize pool needs about 400k more for it to
400K
be
more.
5 million.
Yeah.
For first
Okay,
place.
that'll probably.
yeah.
So guys, keep buying
Jacob, if you
points.
missed the first half, we talked about this in great detail about the prize pool and what we think about it. So PDC Lucas says, when did you guys decide to do live streaming / making videos for Dota 2, and why did you choose Dota 2 when there are a bunch of other games / esports out there?
Well, I chose
So,
Dota 2 because I
David.
played Dota 1 since, I don't know, 2004 or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just, I don't
Well,
know, it's my game.
You were a Counter-Strike player for a
I
while.
played Counter-Strike for a really long time, but that was 1.6, and CSGO is the big thing now. I haven't really gotten into it as much. I still enjoy it casually, but I'm not sure how I feel about it as a competitive game. But Dota was just my game at the time, so for me it was natural. I don't know.
Yeah,
Parker?
I started with Dota 1, so it's
Yeah,
like
I
I'm
started with
casting
Dota
Dota 1, so
It's always been your game.
it's like
I've always
yeah, it's not
played
even
Dota
about
1 as well.
being my. It's like oh yeah, man, Dota 1 was what I played most, so I started casting there. So when Dota 2 came out, I was probably the caster who hung around with Dota 1 the longest, even when Dota 2 was getting big, because there was still a lot of big SEA tournaments,
Yeah.
even Chinese Dota 1 tournaments. So
The Pinoy one you
Along
went with
along
Winter,
with
the Macho
Yeah.
Man contest.
B-Ballin. B-Ballin actually,
Yeah,
I think,
that's
still does Dota 1
Yeah.
casts.
yeah,
Wow.
If you actually want to
Really?
watch Dota 1, which nowadays is less and less common, B-Ballin's, I think, the only English caster I'm aware of who still does it.
Wow.
That's
Or at
pretty
least
cool.
last time I checked a few
yeah,
months ago. it was.
I,
Is there still an active Dota 1 scene of people like scrimming
Yeah,
and
because
playing?
not
and-
every
yeah,
computer can
and
play
SEA.
Dota 2. Especially in like some of the Southeast Asian
Philippines,
regions, like
Malaysia
Philippines.
still
Okay.
have quite big active Dota 1 communities.
Interesting. Wow. Didn't realize
Thailand
that.
as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I've always been into MOBA games. Like Dota was always my like when I played World of Warcraft, like vanilla and TBC. Dota was always that game. Like when we got tired of grinding, we would just play Dota together. So I was always a casual scrub, but I didn't start getting serious about MOBA until like Han came into beta. That was when I first, I don't know, StarCraft is what got me into esports. But
Yeah, StarCraft is what got me into esports, but I've been playing Dota for a long time.
Same thing. So I was never good enough to play with the big wigs. You know, it was always about those boots first on Lich. That was my big strategy.
Yeah.
It's still legit.
Dude, for like
That's
years,
competitive.
I was convinced that starting with consumables, GG branches, or any of the like null talismans, total waste of money.
That's the League of Legends build. Boots in a pot.
Yeah,
That's at least well.
What's a
I
pot?
play a little bit of League, and that was like the build. Apparently,
Like a
boots in a
potion.
pot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
potion.
I don't know.
No,
Like
no,
a
you
salve.
think it is Lysander.
They're called health potions in League of
Oh,
Legends.
okay.
Health pot. So all right, pressing forward here from Mad Mercat 55. How would one get into the sort of work done by a studio like BTS, like setup, stats person, etc.? I adore competitive Dota, and I'm curious about how y'all break in. We get this question or a variant of it semi-frequently, but it's always worth reiterating, I think.
I love
LB's.
Day9's reply to this, which is just stop asking me and start doing it. Like basically, that's he says a little bit nicer and more charismatically, but that's the gist of it. If you want to get into casting or anything, you just start doing it.
Don't
you
ask.
learn as you go. You can ask questions, but
Yeah.
the whole like tell
When
me
you-
what to do.
When
it's-
you get lucky, you
do
get
it,
lucky,
and then
yeah.
if you get good enough, then
Yeah.
someone will take interest in you.
And you go step
help you
by
out.
step. Like you don't just suddenly jump to the having a studio with Statsman and all the production stuff.
You always need to start at the bottom. Like just cast those games with about 100 viewers, stuff like that. You always have to start somewhere. So
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to look, you can look at the new up-and-coming casters. I mean, I was one a year ago, very long ago. I just casted games with like 25 viewers, and I just casted pretty much talking to myself, but it's a practice.
Yeah.
And if you look at the guys from High Ground TV, they came a long way as well. So-
Yeah, I started the same way. I made some videos, uploaded them to my YouTube channel, spammed Lumi with emails because he was the caster I enjoyed the most at the time, and finally he took notice.
Yeah.
Senpai noticed me. It took a while though.
Aw.
Yeah.
And now you're casting TI together. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's adorable.
Match made
Aw.
in heaven.
You getting flamed hard over there, LD? I see you.
Colon.
feeding
People are
on
not
chat
happy
pretty hard.
about the
Cloud9
the
hate?
League of Legends.
Oh, all
Dude,
right.
Brax played League of Legends. I'm fine with that. If I'm in the same category as Brax, I consider that a personal victory.
If I played,
But-
if I said I played Heroes of the Storm, is that a lesser offense?
I mean,
It's just the game nobody cares about, right?
Because it's
At
an
least
alpha.
right now.
It's pretty cool. The fun.
Like no one can get mad about Heroes of the Storm
That's
because
good.
it's just
That's
like
good. I played
whatever.
it, guys. It's pretty
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know.
League people get mad about because
It's a
the
rivalry.
game's still bigger than Dota in terms of player base anyway. So
Yeah. I don't
people
know.
get salty about it. No one cares about
I
Heroes of
feel
the Storm.
I feel
Play
like
whatever
I've
you
played
want
enough
It's like
League to have
Hearthstone.
earned my right to insult it. I don't like the people that blindly insult League that have never played it. It's one thing if you think it sucks and you played it, you just say, yeah, this wasn't for me. I like Dota better, but if you've never played it, just shut up.
I mean,
You're-
don't
you're a
hate. They're all
fanboy at that point.
esports, so
Yeah.
don't hate. I've learned that much.
Yeah. But moral of the story: there is no magic button to getting involved in esports. I think you got to edit videos. This kind of like, I like esports, but I don't really have any skills. Well, then nobody that has money can help you.
I like-
you need a skill. You need your thing. What is your thing? Whether it's casting, whether it's writing, there's a lot of things, but
Yeah.
you need your thing. You need a niche. The best advice I think I've ever heard is work for free as much as you can to get experience, and then the day somebody pays you for your services, never work for free again. That's maybe a little bit hyperbolic, but the idea of that, like, work for free, volunteer, get that experience, make yourself valuable, and then once you realize that, hey, I have a valuable skill set, that's when you say, I don't want to undersell myself. There's that trade-off of, you don't want to work for free forever, but
Yeah, that-
expect to work your ass off for free.
There's
if you wanna break
there's
in.
a Chinese saying that don't try and leap for the skies in one step. So
Good.
I'm
That's a good
borrowing
saying.
some LD
I feel like
here.
you probably butchered the translation.
No, I mean no, it is. It's the Chinese saying is
But,
一
well,
步 一步登天.
what I mean to say is it
Just,
probably
yeah.
sounds a lot nicer in Chinese.
Yeah, 一步登天. One step, get into the clouds or something. I don't know how
Roland
to
is
translate that.
giggling uncontrollably off camera.
It's
so,
correct. It's correct. Ask him. It's correct.
Roland, would you like to issue a
correct, right?
correction?
It's
Yeah, it's
fine.
fine.
It's
He said it's
fine. We got
fine.
the it's
Shut
fine. The blanket wave of just
You
move on, guys.
I'm
It
fake
doesn't get worse than
Chinese.
this.
Remember?
Oh,
Alright.
God.
I don't Chinese
All right,
too
so we've
well.
got
Moving on.
a few more here from Twitter.
Winter
This is
would
from
back me up.
Costello on Twitter. What are your top bans/picks for TI4? Heroes that you think, like maybe top 3 most picked heroes and most banned heroes throughout the entire event.
Miranda.
Yeah, Mirana's
Mirana's most
definitely on
picked.
that
I don't
list.
think
It
Miranda
depends.
be
It
most
depends on the hero, and the teams. I mean, if
No,
it's Alliance,
just-
I would
I
say
don't think
ban
No,
profit
just
at
in,
all
in
costs.
general, like at the end of the
So.
tournament,
Lycan
which heroes will be picked or
Lycan
banned the
to be
most
most
across
Are
all
we
the teams?
separating these?
Chinese,
Because
Bat
heroes that
Rider.
are most banned are probably not going to be most picked.
Yeah,
or
no,
do you
it's
mean
a different.
picks plus
it's like,
bans?
Yeah.
No. Like your 3 that are actually played the most, and then the 3 that are actually banned the most.
Pick the most Mirana, I think.
Yeah, Mirana's on that
that's
list
for
for sure.
sure.
Hero
Cat
just is
ladies.
too versatile, good at everything.
Most banned is gonna be like Lycan.
Most
Bat
ban
Rider.
against Chinese ban Bat Rider a lot. They just like to ban
Bat
Bat
That's
Rider.
Rider's
not
been
true.
fluxing
They
a
value
little bit.
Bat Rider a lot,
That's
unless
not-
the
that's not
bans are in a
entirely-
way.
The last few tournaments, it's not been.
Bat
the
Rider's
same.
been ignored, and
Yeah.
when some V games I was casting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you were saying was right like a month ago, or
Yeah.
even a few weeks ago, but there's been a week or two where teams have been experimenting. Now
Completely
that might just
ignoring
be
the hero.
experimenting.
Yeah,
on the TI.
they try
He's
not
still
to give away
Bat
Bat Rider,
you
because
know?
every time I saw Bat Rider, they got crushed because the Bat Rider is just really strong in Chinese hands. I feel it's just
Yeah.
too strong.
It's
Every
all-
one of their offlaners can play.
It's one of those heroes to me. It's kind of like anti-mage, where you know he's going to make an appearance in a big game at some point because he's just a safe, solid option that can just take over and win you a game.
I think Doom is also like I think if you're combining bans and picks like Doom, Lycan, Bat Rider, Mirana, like the most banned plus picked heroes.
Yeah,
It's
that's
it's just the ratio of ban to pick where
it's harder to
a
gauge.
hero like
yeah.
Lycan's gonna be banned much more than it's picked. Hero like Doom probably more banned than picked. Mirana's gonna be picked a lot more than it's banned.
Because she's not really worth that first ban.
yeah.
Because if you ban her, okay, we don't pick. But
And-
if you don't ban, then alright, let's grab her.
Are there any
because-
others that come to mind that are a similar niche to
I
Mirana, where
should bring
like
up the hero list.
not
it's easier
banned
to do this
quite as
exercise.
often, but still like pretty highly sought after with a first or second pick? Like Enchantress is one that kind of comes to mind a little
Enchantress
bit.
is
No,
an awful
Enchantress
lot.
I
only
guess so.
if you
She's
have
for
a
niche
specialist.
lineups, yeah.
If you have a
Some-
specialist on the team.
Yeah, that's
so
a
like,
good point,
If you have a
alright.
Chuan, if you have Arke, or you have Puppy Chen.
Naga
stuff
is
like
another
that.
one that's kind of fallen off quite a
Definitely
bit.
fall. Invoker is still up there for
Invoker
at least a lot of
carry, I
teams.
think. Now it's
Oh,
now it's a
faceless,
thing.
faceless void.
Yeah.
We're gonna see a lot
yeah.
of the void.
Yeah,
Faceless.
EG made.
I don't know which of those lists he'll be on, but
We'll
he'll
see.
almost certainly be on one of
See
them.
a lot of
But-
attention there.
Void is usually a third, fourth ban. I think teams should never give
I mean, the
away
way
Bat
this,
Rider
the way
and
this
Void
works, though,
together.
it doesn't care if it's a first ban or last ban.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
or
it's just ban.
last
Yeah,
pick.
ban.
But I don't
pick.
think
It
teams
doesn't-
should give away Bat Rider and Void in the same game. It's just disastrous. If
The other
that
combo that
happens.
a lot of teams have been using well is Ember Void. I mean, Void combos with a lot of heroes, but
But Bat Rider just makes your entire team converge. It just has that effect.
I
so.
think two other heroes that we've seen a recent resurgence of are Enigma and Tidehunter. Two heroes that were not getting a lot of love. That
Ice Frog buffed them. He won
Yeah,
team fights.
they're really good. They're great team fight
they want the
heroes.
TI2 meta. TI3 ended up having an epic game 5, but I don't think Valve really wants games to be split
Rat.
push, rat Dota all the time.
Yeah.
With
I'm
that
happy.
said,
I'm
Burning
happy.
like DK is being first picking Naga Siren like every single game.
Yeah.
So.
Burning's Naga is really scary. I
You know, I
think.
saw him testing it at Star Ladder. He was practicing the 7-8 item thing where you've got like a
Yeah.
Necro Boke and
Yeah.
Refresher, and they didn't pick it at all, I believe, at Star Ladder. But then, you know,
did a
he's
lot of-
finally got enough practice
It's funny
where
because
he's
he
gonna run it every
practiced
game.
it so long. Like after the hero's fallen off completely, all the other teams have stopped picking it. The hero got nerfed, and only now he's suddenly like, "I'm ready to play Naga Siren."
I'm
And-
ready. I'm
But
ready
he,
for
he
this.
beasts at it.
Oh yeah,
He's
dude,
beast at it.
they're crushing with it. Like they're
Yeah,
winning.
He's crazy. I don't know
Countless
how
games
he
of it,
gets a
so.
Radiance at 12 minutes or Relic at 12 minutes after Threats and Basilius. It's crazy.
I don't like the Treads build as well. I'm not a big fan of.
He does it
just
well.
doesn't-
I mean, he just gets 6 slotted by like 30 minutes. It's crazy. I don't know how he does it.
I think this TI will have the highest ratio of Meepo bans than any other TI.
Well,
I think
I
Meepo
don't
will
think
be
that-
banned
yeah,
more
I agree.
in this one than any other TI.
I don't
Well,
think
if
we
it's a
ban it
non-zero
anymore.
number, right,
No,
then it's
I mean,
automatically more.
No Tail, no
Wait, has
Tail
he
did
never
say
been banned in a TI? I don't
think
know.
so.
Meepo
I
is
don't think
the
he's ever
new
been banned in
meta
TI.
in TI3.
I mean, apart
Okay.
from
Or maybe that's not a very bold claim. I just
played-
assumed he'd
Someone
been
will
banned
ban
a few
Meepo
times.
against Fnatic, which means that your prediction will be
well,
true.
Yay!
Excalibur's not on the team.
Still no Tail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they
it's true.
haven't
Actually, maybe not with
They
Excalibur.
run their
no.
support Meepo very rarely.
Okay, maybe I was
Okay.
actually you're right. With Excalibur not playing for them, maybe we don't.
And then
But-
Wise
but hey,
played
I
like
think
2 games
one
of
ban-
support Meepo. Like,
One ban would be more than anything, really, right?
Yeah.
So
Alright.
you're right. Yay!
All right, that wasn't quite
I
as
think
bold
you
as I
guys,
was
you guys,
hoping
you guys
for.
just make it sound like Meepo's gonna get banned. I'm like, wait a second.
No, not a lot. It's more than
Yeah.
0. If he gets banned once, then Andrew's
Guys,
prediction
what
is
happened
true.
to Visage?
All right, well, huh?
What happened to Visage? Nerfed too hard?
Okay.
The steady nerfs. I think he's
He'll get picked. We'll see some Drow Visage from Cloud.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say, Drow Visage. You see pocket
Mask
strats
of Madness,
sometimes.
Maelstrom,
Woo!
the Glass Cannon build.
Yeah.
I love that build when it works.
Some of
It's
the Chinese
beautiful to
teams
watch,
still run
but-
Visage.
When it works.
Yeah.
LGD like their Visage a lot. Like,
Cloud9?
Yeah.
He doesn't like
Visage, yeah.
anything of
Yeah.
Cloud9.
No, he said
So he said
LGD.
LGD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard the same thing first. I was like, LD Visage. What? That's not a. Is that a thing?
LGD.
Yeah, LGD. Those
Well-
are the big ones that really come to mind. AA has fallen off quite a bit. Some of the Chinese teams still really like him, but I don't
I just
think
hope we
he'll
don't
be
see any support Thinker or
banned.
support Zeus.
Yeah.
That
Support
stuff is
Zeus.
ass. Don't ever try it again.
The first 2
DK.
support Zeus games on record were both against a Life Stealer, which is
Ugh.
the absolute worst scenario.
No, the
ever to
second
have a
one was
support
against
Zeus.
Templar Assassin as well.
No, that was the third game.
Oh, really?
Third
Okay.
support Zeus. At least that I've seen.
That was sad.
Yeah. Well.
They
Alright.
didn't really think it through.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Faceless Void, I think, will probably be the biggest breakout in terms of we were seeing almost none of him, and we'll see him banned.
What about PA?
A lot. Yeah, we'll see PA a little bit.
I think the other
Cyborg Matt said that PA will be the dark horse. So
I think the other hero we haven't talked about, which will be, I think probably top 5 picked banned, is Brewmaster.
Oh yeah, yep. That's.
I think he's going to be picked and banned more than Tide Enigma, at least a little or a similar amount, maybe.
Yeah,
it could be
against
maybe
some
a
teams.
little more,
the other hero
Most
that
teams are
always
first banning Brewmaster.
the other hero that always crops up is Prophet. Prophet's a hero that might not be super popular for all the teams now, but
Furion.
you can bet it's going to see more play at TI than it has coming into.
What do you guys think about Wisp picks / bans? Is that
You
still
must ban it against some teams.
I think Wisp is actually something we're going to see a decent number of bans because this year, pretty much all the Chinese teams come into it with Tiny Wisp as like a pocket strat to pull out third, fourth pick.
Or even just
DK
Wisp
would-
plus whatever, like Wisp Luna. Or like
Wisp
Past
ban-
TIs, it was like only the Western team, so a lot of the teams automatically were not really running Wisp, aside from eHome did it at TI2 quite a bit. But this TI, I would say there's at least 8 to 12 teams that are there's a decent chance they'll pick Wisp if you leave it out there. So
You shouldn't give it to some teams at all.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's a bad idea.
Yeah,
So.
definitely true. So, all right, we've got one question left here from @PorchDota. Realistically, how many teams have a chance at winning TI4? So, a team that you think could win it, but you don't know. Like, how many teams do you think are actually contenders for first place?
we had a similar kind. We were watching the World Cup earlier, and I think it was Lysange like, have underdogs ever won like the World Cup? And Roland was like, no, not really, because they cause upsets, but they don't win the whole thing. Because like at least look at the World Cup format. You've got to win round of 6. You got to get top 2 in your group of 4 teams. Then you got to win round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. Like you can upset one of the best teams or one of the favorites, but doing that time and time again,
too many
isn't gonna
filters.
happen.
it's even less likely at TI than it is in the World Cup because the format is even more forgiving to the top teams.
I think there's 5 or 6 teams who I think I could see winning TI.
I think that's about the right number. I would say, I don't know who's on your list, but DK, Newbie, IG, Alliance, EG, and I'm not sure.
Maybe Navi.
Yeah, Navi.
Never
I don't
stop
know.
believing.
They
in Navi.
don't deserve it for any reason
Yeah.
except that they're Navi. But
To me, it's those 5, and then Navi's like
Guys,
maybe you
it's
put them in. Maybe you don't.
TI4. They are winning it.
it's the year of Havos.
It's the year of Havos.
The
They
year of
gotta
Havos.
win it. Please win it, Alexander.
I'm
please.
with you on this one, Lysander.
It's
fully on
TI4.
board.
Yeah.
Do it.
I would agree. Okay, so we'll wrap very quickly here. We're going to go around just straightforward your top 3 teams, not in any particular order, but the teams you think will be top 3 at TI. No pussyfooting around, none of this. Well, I think some
Top
teams.
3, you said?
Top 3.
And does it-
Your
not
top,
in order though.
no particular order. That's a little too difficult. So,
IG,
okay, you can
Alliance,
go first.
Newbie.
IG, Alliance, Newbie.
Navi,
All right.
EG, and Cloud9 because I bet him. So
All right. Newbie,
Cloud9,
EG,
they're gonna
Cloud9.
make it.
Who was it? EG
Navi,
Cloud-
EG, Cloud9. I
Oh,
mean, those are my
Navi,
favorite
EG,
teams.
Cloud9.
You are. He really hates Chinese teams.
No,
He,
what?
He flames Chinese Dota left, right, and center.
He
Okay,
said,
maybe a
he
bit
said
of
at
DK,
ESL
but
that
there's no
I think
space
he
for
said
them.
both of the Chinese teams would be eliminated in the first round. I believe is what you
I didn't
said.
say that.
Yeah.
I just.
You said there was like no chance a Chinese team wins ESL.
Did I say that?
yeah,
I didn't say that.
I
I just.
remember
Maybe
just,
maybe not in those exact words, but that
I'm
was like
pretty sure we have a
definite-
VOD for this that we can go back to if we really. We need to start doing that, bringing out
I don't
like
remember
last week's
saying that,
predictions
though.
in VOD so we can.
No, it's just
shove it in
that there
people's
isn't enough
faces.
space in top 3. I mean, I could slot DK in, but I'm just saying my favorite teams. So.
For me, I'm gonna say IG, DK, and Alliance.
Okay.
I think Alliance is actually looking.
You can't win the international
Very
twice. That's a curse.
Well, then Navi aren't winning it.
Yeah, but
All right.
I believe Cloud9.
I've got DK,
E-
Newbie, and EG.
I think this is
EG's the one team that like
EG's, yeah.
I feel like they really belong on that list, especially after winning
Yeah.
ESL. But
Yep.
I still have slight reservations because they are pretty young.
Got second at ESL.
Yeah, but
No,
getting
yeah.
I meant getting to the
Yeah, yeah.
finals.
Yeah.
But yeah.
EG, I think they did really well considering
Yeah.
the timing thing. So it might have changed.
Results-wise, EG to me definitely deserves to be considered as a top 3 team, but it's more I just look at them. They are a bit of a young team.
Choke might
And
happen.
it's not that they've performed poorly at every LAN. I wouldn't say they're chokers,
They've
but
done
it's
really
more
well in LAN.
you get to TI and the stakes are just
RTZ never
even if
loses
it's
a US
even if
anything.
ESO is a bigger venue, it doesn't matter. This
Yeah.
TI is consuming these players in the head.
RTZ
It's
has never
just-
lost a US LAN.
There's been one real US.
Never
LAN.
lost
Monster.
a
There was the
US
Monster
LAN.
That's not a real
Invitational,
US
and there
LAN.
was one real
MLG.
Guys, the stats don't lie.
Oh, the Summit. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Summit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Two of them.
We
Stats-
forgot our own event.
LD, please.
I was counting the Summit.
Please.
I was not I was counting MLG only.
Charlie is spamming the 22-0 in chat right now,
Yeah.
so you can see even the manager's not so confident in his own team.
See, I see.
Look, the situation
Rubbish.
at ESL was unfavorable towards EG though.
No. That is. I mean, we went over it in the last
Dude,
show.
Navi lost it.
That was really unfair.
TI2, Navi lost a game like 19-0 or something to IG.
No one
in the
remembers
winter bracket
that.
final. Yeah.
Everyone
no one
remembers
talks about it.
26-0 because they set the precedent.
You know, you have that game where your opponent just has that slide out draft and play it perfectly, then you get blanked like that. Like it happens to Navi, it's happened to EG now.
Well,
Well, it's always IG doing it too. IG did it to Navi, and now they've done it to EG.
they are.
Who's the next victim? of
Tron,
the-
he slays.
I could very easily see a DK newbie finals with EG getting third.
I
That's
just
like
hope
with my
it
top
doesn't
3. That's the way I
happen.
see it playing out.
I want to
DK
see
just
something
don't-
more
DK aren't
unorthodox.
convincing enough for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think.
I'm
I
not
don't.
sure.
I feel like DK is a really strong team, but they
I
might
think
just hit second.
DK
or
online
third.
and DK on land are two different animals. That's my theory. About it.
Maybe. I think they're pretty consistent. As a
I think
team.
you look at them online after a big LAN and they'll just get
The way they,
destroyed.
I don't know.
But-
I was at Starladder, and the way they performed at that event, like, was just unbelievable. They were
Yeah.
on a different level from the other teams. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't even close.
Exactly.
Now,
At the summit, though, it was a little different. Though.
Yes.
Even though they got second place there, I feel it wasn't convincing by any means.
I've rarely seen a team where I'm just like, holy crap, they didn't just beat teams, they demolished everyone. Like, even every top team has pretty much won a major LAN coming into this event. There's at least like 6 to 8 who have, but I don't know. To me, DK have just been that performance. I have to consider them top 3.
All right, boys.
They're
So-
also all veterans.
Mushi
That's
needs.
the other
I
thing.
think
Yes.
Mushi's in a little bit of a
Which
slump right
some
now.
of the
so
other teams, have
if
some
he
newer
steps
blood.
up, they have
Yeah.
a really good chance.
and that's why I
but-
think they really shine on LAN because they're veteran players. That nervousness of LAN is not as big of a factor for them. They know the drill. They know how to handle themselves. They also have a really good coach that is like a real coach. Not
Yeah, they
no,
wanna-
no, no offense to Steve, but he's not a real coach compared to like what DK have. It's just a level of difference having that structure in your.
I just have a
daily
feeling it's
routine.
EG's year. I mean, I think we have all the. Okay, well, not all, but I just feel it might be EG's year. I don't know why. I just have the feeling.
Someone
Just
in
a
the
hunch.
chat just said these guys have no clue. Top 4 will be DK, IG, Newbie, and EG. I think we all had those on our list.
Yeah, we're just
least
listing
3 of those.
favorites. We're listing
Twitch chat
favorites.
disbanderina.
I don't think you're very good at listening, man. I normally don't reply to Twitch chat.
But
Jesus
LD
Christ, dude.
firing the shots. Jeez.
Call him out. What was his username?
oh man,
That's the spirit.
Let's
Get
point fingers.
Macavity.
Let's
Dunked.
get names. Oh, McCavity.
You are wrong, good sir.
I'm offended that you weren't listening more closely to us.
the.
All right, guys.
I just hope it's West versus East finals, if it's anything.
I think everyone hopes for that end of the day. Like,
Because if it's a Chinese,
it
then
adds
it's like
that little extra
WPC 2014. You know,
I
don't
would
know.
still be really hyped for it because it's still some teams walking away as 5 millionaires, almost millionaires after the game, and I love me some
No more
Chinese
Navi
Dota,
versus
but-
Alliance. What if we get a Navi versus Alliance grand final?
Oh, that would.
I feel like that's more hype than a
That would
China
be.
versus.
It would be
anything.
so
think so?
surprising. It would be more surprising now because I don't think Navi
What is
or
your
Alliance
actually?
are,
That's a good question.
I think
What is
Navi
your like
versus-
dream finals?
Well, I mean,
Navi
that's I think that's the
versus
community
finals.
dream final.
Each
Well, maybe
Navi
like
Alliance?
depends which community. I mean, if you're talking about the Dota 2 communities, obviously you're including the Chinese fan base, the Russian fan base. and-
Well, the Chinese fan base is actually at this point it's bigger than any other fan base. So
My
we
tr-
just don't hear their voices.
Mine is
because
actually-
we're in the West.
They don't go to
EG
Reddit.
DK
Yeah, they don't
is-
read Reddit, guys.
Yeah.
If Chinese comes to Reddit, that would be.
As far as the
would
Western
be pretty
community
cool.
is concerned, I think the Western community would prefer Navi versus Alliance than like Navi versus IG or whatever. Maybe Navi DK, but
Yeah. And okay, here's it. So long Navi wins, I don't really care who wins. You know.
you're such a.
Are you a Cloud9 fanboy or a Navi fanboy? You gotta pick
Cloud9
one.
top 3. I said that. But I want Navi to win. Navi has always been my top team. That's my favorite. It's always been my
Wait,
favorite.
were your top 3 predictions who
Navi,
you want
EG,
to win or
Navi,
who you
EV,
think
and
will
Cloud9.
win?
I want-
to win. I want them
That's
to
not
win.
the question. Is who do you think what? Who? No one cares about who you want to win.
Okay, fine.
Who
But
gi-
I
who
had to
gives a
put
fuck
Cloud9
about
in there. I
that,
put
dude?
$10 on the
You're
line.
shameless,
No. I asked what's your dream finals?
Okay,
Like I
no,
said, it's the
if-
first.
No, I mean
Yeah.
the question before that. The,
Yeah.
the
No, if
3
I
top
think who
teams.
will
Who
win,
do you
then
actually
I would
think will
swap
be
out
top 3?
Cloud9 for DK. For top 3.
So DK.
EG and Navi. Because Navi always enters the finals. I mean, it always happens. So I'm just going to put them in there.
It's true. I mean,
Yeah,
historically,
TIs,
that's
though.
an accurate
The
statement.
first
That's
TI
true.
wasn't really a real TI either.
Oh, well, it's 3 TIs. They don't lie.
3 TIs. Don't lie.
Honestly, man, DK versus EG
That's-
sounds pretty hyped. to
that's
me.
my
Yeah.
dream. That's pretty
Having
high.
DK
an
versus
American
EG
team in America would be cool.
Yes.
DK, EG, and
I-
Navi. I think those are final makers. They
EG
just
versus Navi,
make
though.
good games.
I gotta say after the summit as well, the EG guys definitely have some character
Yeah,
as well.
they do.
So.
I want to see the tweets
I'm a bit of a
after them
PPD
winning.
fanboy, so I'll be
EG
rooting for
winning?
them.
Can you imagine the PPD RTZ tweets after that?
The USA
on.
chance.
Yeah.
That would be pretty huge.
100%,
PPD
100%
tweets
land
are
win
better
rate.
when they
That'll
lose,
be
though.
That's a fair point.
100%
I like
US
the-
land
US,
win rate.
US.
The salty
100%
PPD tweets
TI
that
win
I
rate.
live- that's why I follow
Damn.
PPD.
That's a good point. The
100%
salty
TI
tweets
wins.
tend to be better.
I love PPD. That
And
guy's
I think that
fantastic.
Loader tweet
Yeah.
will get a lot more retweets now if that happens. Imagine if
That-
RTZ wins
That
TI.
tweet just gets it gets excavated back up. It's like a
Yeah, it's
1,000
like,
feet
win the
underground.
land before you talk.
I definitely am guilty of helping bring that to
Oh,
the
the
surface
shovels
more
twice.
than
Man, though,
once.
that's another reason why I want EG to win so hard as well, because the drama will be good.
But you never know, man. What's going to be this year's Fountain Hook or Aegis tonight? That's the beauty of TI.
Yeah.
Is
There'll be an
something
upset.
crazy will happen.
And
at
it's
some
always
point.
Navi that does it.
And it will decide the course of the event.
It's always Navi that does it. The Dandy Ravage steals.
I don't know if it'll
Yeah.
be Navi this year, but something will
This
happen.
year, I don't think it's gonna be Navi. This is the year of.
This is
The
a
end
new
for
era.
Navi, maybe.
This like
Yeah.
This is the
TI4 is as more
I-
serious than it's ever been in like maybe the
You guys will
Staples
be
Center
all
is more
watching
serious
It's funny
than
because
twice.
we say that every year, but it's been true every year.
It's
Like
yeah.
Every year,
TI1
Navi,
was like a
Navi's
beta
down.
test. TI2,
Navi.
not to take anything away from Navi, but the game had so many bugs. Their hero pool was very limited. TI2, it's like this is the first real TI, but the hero pool wasn't even nearly complete. TI3, you
This
went
is where
from
it's
having
at.
a few teams that took it seriously to almost everyone, and this year it's not seriously, but they've been doing so for much longer with more support around them, and
Somebody's
I'm-
life is changing after this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple
It truly
people's.
is a new era, and I think right now Navi is not a part of that new era. Like it's kind of. It sounds harsh, but
I think it's a thing.
at the
You must
results.
hate on Navi every single TI, and
No,
then
no,
oh,
hey.
Navi are entering their 4th grand final.
excuse
and,
me. Going
okay,
to TI3, Navi was a
oh.
favorite to win
no.
it.
Really?
One of the favorites. It was people were expecting
Everyone was
Navi
saying
and
Alliance.
Navi,
Yeah,
versus, Navi and Alliance were the two favorites going
Okay.
to TI3.
well, definitely after the group stage they were.
But even before anything began, everyone had Navi, Alliance, or maybe like one of the Chinese.
We shall see this
Yeah,
year.
like one, and it wasn't the same Chinese team. It was just one of them.
No one thought it'd be Tongfu who would do the best, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think Navi versus Alliance was definitely the most hyped up match leading into TI3, a matchup people expected to be like the decider. So
Mhm.
this is the first TI where I feel not maybe TI3. I think they were a favorite. TI4, Navi, far from being a favorite.
Oh. We
I
shall
think
see.
that's true. Yeah, we'll see. We can go back to the videotape after it's done, boys, and we'll see. That's the nice thing about predictions. If somebody's right, then you get mad.
You have some.
We should
evidence.
tape
Yeah.
that $100 that I'm receiving from LD.
Okay.
And like I said earlier off camera, I'm gonna Instagram the shit out of the dinner I'm buying from that. $100. So
All right, well, guys, keep
Well,
your ear to the drum for that.
$10. I'll make a good Chipotle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you in
Chipotle.
advance for the free
Chipotle.
The free burrito.
The free burrito.
Sure.
burrito boys.
I'll
Oh,
upsize
God.
your meal as well if you win.
Oh, good.
Get some guac for $10.
There you go.
That's a good deal.
All right.
All right, guys.
Some
Well,
prime steak with that 100. I'll share it with you, man. You can add your salt to it.
No salt here, man.
Well, guys, that wraps up our last episode of In the Studio before TI. You're going to have to keep your ear to the drum, follow the social media. We have a lot of folks going. We'll be pumping out content. I'll be doing media, and we've got a camera crew going, so we'll be doing interviews, having some fun fan interactions, and all sorts of other creative ideas we have. So plenty of YouTube content will be coming out, plenty of still frames, and, of course, you'll see most of these recognizable faces around the various streams and on different casts. We're planning to do some sort of an in-the-studio-esque thing at some point during TI4, but
In the hotel.
we don't know where, we don't know when, and we don't know to what capacity. So you're gonna have to just
Follow
just
us
go
on
with it.
Twitter.
Event.